Hey guys, Jim Vanosky with Manufacturing Talks. Today we've got a little bit of drama, but we're going to wait to get to it. I have Anthony Constantino. He is with Sticker Mule. You may have seen him in the news. If so, you know what the story is going to be. But first and foremost, he's a manufacturing guy. So we're going to talk about manufacturing and how he got started in that and how his company's gone. And then we'll get into the drama around the presidential race and some of the media craziness that surrounded it with him. So he'll be here in just a few seconds. Stay tuned here on Manufacturing Talks.
Welcome to Manufacturing Talks with Jim Vanosky. Industry has a million cool stories, and Jim talks to the movers and shakers who are making them happen. Let's dive in.
Hey everybody, Jim Vanosky with Manufacturing Talks. Welcome back. I'm joined today by Anthony Constantino. He is CEO of Sticker Mule. He's been in the news lately, but we're going to save that for last because he's got a lot of other stuff to tell us. Welcome, Anthony.
Thanks. I'm super happy to be here. It's fun to come and talk about manufacturing. I haven't got a chance to talk too much about that lately, but I'm really excited to be here and talk about that.
And that's why we're saving the drama for last, because that's what we're about here is manufacturing. And I know you've got a great story to tell there. So before we jump into Sticker Mule, just give us a little info on where you came from and then how you got to the point where you launched the company, and then we'll talk about that.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, those people that don't know the story, I'm from a small town in upstate New York called Amsterdam, and my co-founder, I got a little bit of a different situation. My co-founder is in his 80s now. He was in his 70s when we got started, and he managed to get through his whole career without ever using a computer. He was in manufacturing his whole life. I had some time in manufacturing as well, and he managed to get through his career and retire without ever using a computer. He got his first computer in around Christmas for 2010, and he asked me for help with the computer, and I just started BSing about the internet and doing internet companies and stuff like that. And he said, well, that's great. I'm going home. Goodbye. Good night. And then he came and saw me the next morning. Yeah, pretty much. He came and saw me the next morning. You're going to like this one more. He came and saw me the next morning, 9 a.m. He had a notepad, and he said to me almost word for word, he said, Anthony, I stayed up last night with a bottle of vodka. I drank the bottle. I decided we got to start an internet company together.
That is the best origin story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it gets better. So,
All right. Well, then, so Sticker Mule. How did you go from this generic concept of you're starting an internet company to what you wound up with?
Right. We believe it or not, I learned from my co-founder to move quickly. Right. He never heard of the internet, and then next thing you know, we're starting an internet company. And we said, I actually said to him, he deserved a lot of credit. I said, yeah, maybe, give me a few months. Let me think about it, whatnot. And he said, no, Anthony, you showed me the internet last night. You're already 5 years too late. We got to get started right away. If you want to do it, I'll back you. You got to do it right now. So yeah, we decided, we got moving. Of course, the next thing you got to do is, the next thing you really got to do is get incorporated. So we went to get incorporated, and that was fun too. Our lawyer friend was in his 80s at the time. We walked in and he said, Dick, me and Anthony are here. We need your help to start an internet company. And Dick said, the internet, my grandkids tell me it's phenomenal. I'd love to help you guys. Right.
Oh boy. Excellent. Okay. So
next step is developers. Right now you're incorporated. You got to get developers. So at the time there was a company called at the time people still had phone numbers, I guess, or not so many people, but we found this software development agencies, and they specialize in e-commerce. And they had a phone number on their website at the time. And we called the number, and the founder answered the phone. And some year later, he built a really impressive startup. He got acquired by a company called First Data, which is the largest payment processor in the world. So we found this really hotshot guy. He had a phone number. He was still available. He took the call, and we said, look, we're looking for your help to build an internet company. He said, that's wonderful. What would you like to sell? We said, we're not really sure yet. We're still trying to decide. And he said, okay, well, what are you willing to spend? And my co-founder interjected, and you could tell he's older because he said, we've never done anything on the internet before. We were hoping you could advise us as to cost expectations. And the guy said, he could tell. He said, look, I'm going to be honest with you. The internet's hot right now. I'm getting calls from all sorts of weirdos. You guys sound like a bunch of weirdos. I'm not sure I want to work with you. And so he was about to hang up the call, and my co-founder nodded at me, and I said, well, we could spend $100,000. And the guy told me, he said, look, I'm free next week. Could you come down to DC to see me? He has a lot of credit. He built the website. I said 100, and he built the website for 50 grand. Most people, you say 100, and they take 3 or 4, right? But
yeah, right.
Like for 50 grand, we went and saw him. a week later, he said, I'm going to be honest. I still think you're weirdos, but I really like you guys. I'd love to get started right away. Could you please decide what the heck you want to sell? So we went back and we didn't have a name yet. We didn't have nothing. We just started. We wanted to make some sort of manufactured product. And I like comedy. I like to be funny. And I thought animal names were funny, right? So I just said product plus animal. And we said button frog, print bear, sticker mule, and then sticker mule.
Holy cow. Well, it seems to have worked for you. So who's to argue, right?
So yeah, we launched 3 months later. We hired a kid. And I said, look, we're looking for your help to design a website. And I said, we'd like your help. And he said, oh, geez. He goes, I'll be honest with you. He said, I never designed a website before, but I always wanted to. I'd love to help you guys out. I said, well, we can't pay you anything. We're just getting started. I said, but if it goes well, we'll take care of you down the road. So he designed the website in about 2 weeks. It looks almost exactly like it looks today. He designed our logo. Turned out this kid is one of the best, ended up being one of the best designers really on the internet, really in the world. He's an incredible designer. He's our CMO today. And now we got a massive design team, 10 or 15 of the best designers in the world, but nobody's touching him. He's still the best by far. And he runs our whole runs our whole marketing. Actually, he ran manufacturing for a period too. He's probably one of the most talented people, one of the most talented people around. But yeah, he was just a kid. I just tapped on the shoulder and said, hey, we want your help. And he designed the website. It launched in January, I think. And we got orders right away. We got lucky. We got 10 or 20 orders the first day because people like the design of the website so much. Like the internet was different back then.
Yeah.
There weren't so many beautiful, now every website's beautiful, but
right.
At the time there weren't so many, websites were still, even remember Amazon was fairly unattractive and it's still
for sure. Yeah.
Yes. But some of these other websites wasn't so common to have a beautiful website. And we built a site that looks like it does today. And for the time it was beautiful. And so all the design world started talking about it and people started writing blog posts about it and sharing it on whatever they did back then. And it went viral in a way, and that's how we got started. And then we just took off. And our biggest problem for the first 2 or 3 years was we couldn't ship the orders on time. So, that was
well. And I mean, that had to be a big challenge. It's one thing to get the company going and get orders, but now you got to make the stuff, right? So how did you grapple with that?
Yeah, we didn't know anything. We didn't have the right substrate. We didn't, like I said, our biggest problem for the first 2 years was we couldn't ship the orders on time. We got so much demand that we couldn't ship the orders on time. And so, we just had to figure things out one by one. I tell people I learned over time, and my co-founder was a big believer in doing things this way. But, in business, I say you just find problems and you fix them. So like once we got started, we just we did a kind of a survey, like you do an assessment of your organization. You say, what are the biggest problems I'm facing today? And you just tackle those problems and, you try to solve as many problems as you can, in a short amount of time. And we just kept fixing problems. I don't really focus on growth. I focus on fixing problems, and so like a problem in the beginning, people didn't like the quality. So we fixed the quality. Another big problem in manufacturing, particularly in print, when you get to our scale, is you got so many machines, right? And all those machines got to consistently produce the same color. So let's say you got 100 printers, and somebody gets an order, goes to printer 8, and then next time it goes to printer 17. It's got to be the same color every time. And so, and every day, so the machine, whatever you want to call it, synchronization, was a big problem. We had to solve, make sure all the machines print the same color every time, every day of the week, every month of the year. So we had to solve things like that. And eventually we had to solve the problem of how to build a software team. And today we got 100, I don't think I mentioned yet. So we had this crazy beginning, and then, the orders came in like crazy. And now it's 14 years later, we got 1,200 people and 39 countries, almost 1,000 manufacturing jobs in the United States of America. And one of the biggest problems we need to solve was how to become a tech company. I call us a tech company, and people say, all you do is sell stickers. But we got 100 engineers, and we do everything from software. We build all our own software systems, and we do a thing that's really unique, which is we build our own machines. I don't think that's a common thing.
No, that isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a little late intel, and I got to ask you this. So you're doing all this stuff, and you're boxing professionally in Mexico.
Yes. That's my hobby, right? I like to be different.
What?
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
And I didn't realize we were going to send you that at the last minute, right? So,
yeah, gotcha.
I guess I think part of I guess well, how do I do it is one thing. He's like, I guess I've always liked stories since I was a kid. A friend of mine like said to me, I finally figured out why you tell I have like a lot of stories. And he said, I figured out why you tell so many great stories. He said, you make them all. And so I don't
Right.
and yeah, whenever I get a chance to do something that's a little different than what other people would do, I jump at it. So yeah, 6 years ago, I moved to Mexico on a whim, and I was there for about a week, and I just randomly started boxing, and I fell in love with boxing. Like it's hard to find hobbies when you're a lot of people run companies. They all they do is work all day, and
Right. Yeah.
I think I had that problem, to be honest with you. So I was like looking for hobbies. Believe it or not, I tried stand-up comedy, and I did it a few times.
Nice.
I had a lot of fun doing it, but I didn't really love it. Like I did it with other comedians, and if they did a good set and they got laughs, they were so happy. And I did some decent performances, and people laughed, but I didn't really get nothing from it. And so I started boxing, and I just loved it right away. And yeah, now I was 4-0, 2 amateur knockouts, 2 professional knockouts, and then I did a stupid thing, and I fought a fight with bronchitis, and I got a decision loss because I got tired. But I don't like talking about that. But
Right.
I was actually talking. Yeah, I was actually talking to somebody the other day that had spent. It was a journalist. He spent a lot of his time interviewing President Trump and Mike Tyson, and he's writing about how Trump was influenced by the world of fighting. So he was asking me about it, and I said, to be honest, fighting and running a company are very similar, and I think the fighting actually helped me run the company because you can't train all day. I train for 4 or 5 hours a day, but when you're exercising at a high intensity, your brain functions really well, and it also forces me to have a high deal of focus and prioritization. Right, like I had less time in a day. I really had to prioritize effectively and pick the most important things to do. And I don't know, when you're healthy and you feel good, I think you perform better. So yeah, the boxing, believe it or not, people, when I first said I was going to do it, my team thought I was nuts. They were like, well, they didn't like it for anything, but I think it actually.
Why would they think that?
Yeah, I think it actually helped me perform better. Yeah.
So since starting Sticker Mule, now you've got a few kind of adjuncts to that going as well. So what are those all about?
We started a social network called Stimulus because I was really frustrated with a website I called Jack Dorsey's Twitter. And, Jack Dorsey's Twitter was a really bad website that was really being used as a weapon to terrorize. I felt like it was terrorizing the world with this sort of San Francisco ideology. It was trying to export it all over the world. So I built a website called Stimulus to show people that you could do social media in a more positive way. And I think we succeeded in doing that. However, I guess another guy named Elon Musk saw the same problem I saw, and he decided to step in and buy Jack Dorsey's Twitter and turn it into another website called X. So we built a lot of really cool tech into Stimulus. It's got some innovative social tech. We got a patent on giveaway technology. So we got integrated giveaways. Like all the other networks, they charge you to run ads, but we decided, why don't we just invert all that ad spend and turn it into giveaways instead? So people are giving things away instead of buying ads to get attention, which is beneficial for both sides. So if you look at it and check it out, we got a lot of cool technology in there. However, we were going to build a stores platform into our social network called Stimulus, and we decided to build the stores platform into Sticker Mule instead. Okay. And it's off like wildfire. So we're actually porting all the social tech back into Sticker Mule. So Sticker Mule's, I'm going to, in a roundabout way, what I'm going to explain is I like solving big problems, and Sticker Mule is now solving the problem of helping people sell things. So in the past, we grew to 1,200 people, helping people buy things, right, that they give away. And now anything you buy from us, you can sell through us, and all the social tech that's built in the Stimulus is being backported into Sticker Mule. So we're going to be probably the world's best platform for selling stuff, for buying manufactured products and selling manufactured products on demand. And we're going to have an integrated social network into the platform with integrated giveaways and all sorts of other fun stuff to draw people onto the platform and help them get, make money and get their brand out to the world effectively. So, we started that. That was fun. It was, ended up being a really interesting experiment, and it went really well. And I guess the only other one, people talk about it, but it's really like a small side thing, is we started a local gym we call Mule Fitness, and people joke I should franchise it, but the local community gym was closing during the pandemic, and so we acquired it, and we run our own gym too. But that's really just a fun community activity. And other than that, I don't know. I guess I keep myself busy between with Sticker Mule and now whatever other trouble I just got myself into.
Right. Well, and we're going to get to that. But first, another bit of late intel I got. You've talked about your own
Sure.
manufacturing company that you've built. You're supporting others now with buy sell of manufactured products. I understand you are a big proponent of reshoring, bringing manufacturing back to America. So tell us about that.
Yeah, people ask me all the time when I start Sticker Mule, they go, "You must do your manufacturing overseas." And we do it all in the United States. To me, it doesn't make any sense to do it overseas. And people are always talking. I live in a town called Amsterdam where it was a big manufacturing job, big manufacturing jobs town, and all the jobs left and went overseas. And I just don't understand it because, like, I think the issue is like why it's happening is all the brain power in America is going towards tech and software in particular, and like
Mhm.
not a lot of innovation is going towards manufacturing technology. And if you invest in manufacturing technology like we did, you can bring costs down and you can do things here. The problem I think is most manufacturing is very antiquated, right? It's if you go into factories, they're operating the same way they operated in the 1960s for the most part, and all the big brains and tech and whatnot, they're just going software. Nobody's putting their brain power towards manufacturing. So we're doing all our manufacturing in the United States, except we do manufacture in Italy, but that's to service Europe. So I
Yeah.
think manufacturing should be local. I don't know why. I think the long-term trend should be for all manufacturing to be coming local because you want to be close to your customers for fast shipping. So people always say, "Oh, you must be doing your manufacturing in other places." No, we do it all here. In fact, I live in Mexico for 4 to 6 months out of the year, but that's just because I enjoy living there. I don't do any manufacturing. We don't do any manufacturing in Mexico. I just like living there. I think it's a beautiful country. It's a great place to live, and I like the country. I like the food, and I like the people. But yeah, we do all our manufacturing. I think manufacturing should be local. If we ever did manufacturing in Mexico, it'd probably be to service Mexico, and in Central America, it wouldn't be to take jobs from America. So yeah, there's a lot of brains in the world today, particularly engineering minds and software
Mhm.
and hardware. But if that brain power went towards manufacturing, I think you could see a lot more manufacturing jobs come back to America. Elon's doing it, and
Yep.
even Apple's doing it to an extent. But yeah, for whatever reason, like the existing manufacturing players in America haven't. I don't know. There's a disconnect between the modern tech world, and the old school manufacturing companies.
Yeah, and I've been in manufacturing my whole career, and I can tell you straight up, huge focus everywhere I've been in the 37 years I've been in it has been in cost cutting. And I think that's one of the problems is rather than focusing on running the business the best you can, and that includes innovation and taking it forward, instead we're just pinching every penny. And yeah, that leads to exactly what you're saying, running stuff like it ran 50 years ago, which is not going to be competitive.
I think manufacturers got to do two things to fix the problem. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like these old school manufacturers, they focus on cost. They talk about, I don't know, hopefully I won't get myself in trouble. They talk about what they got, Six Sigma and 5S. And
Mhm.
all
Yep.
I don't give a shit about any of that. I don't use any of it. Right? There's the book, I don't know, whatever. There's some of these books about all this stuff, but I don't use any of it. Like, all I do is I invest in software to automate back-end systems. We've had to build all of our own back-end systems. And if you look at the way Sticker Mule operates, like most manufacturers would break if they had to handle our volume. Because, like, for
Yeah, I
example, one
bet.
thing we do is we do a big Tuesday deal, right? And we do a big aggressive deal every Tuesday. And when we do a deal, we get a 5x influx of volume for one particular product line, but only for 3 days. And that would break most manufacturers, where all of a sudden you got to scale up 5x, but only for 2 days. But we're able to do it because we have automated through we automate in two ways. Like I said, we got hardware engineers, we build our own machines, and we build our own software. So all of our own software systems, we don't use these ERPs or MRPs or any of that. We built our own systems that are highly automated to service our needs. The problem with existing manufacturing software is it's all generalized for
Mhm.
general manufacturing, but every manufacturing system is situation is a little different. So we have highly specialized software that we built specifically for ourselves. We have our own shipping system, our own manufacturing system, our own everything, really, to guarantee that we can manage things, and that's why we can do the manufacturing here. And aside from that, machines are very generalized too. If you look at the way machines are sold, they're sold for a general audience, right? So you're selling, like, a machine maker has to try to convince 10 different types of customers to
Mhm.
buy
Yep.
the same machine. So you're not building specialized machines for that particular product line. But what we do at Sticker Mule is we got our own, in fact, our engineering team is better than the engineering teams at most machine manufacturers. Like in fact, we buy more robotics equipment. We're the largest buyer of robotics equipment in Italy. We're buying more than people that build machines for a living. We installed last year alone, we installed 100 of our own machines, and this year we're going to install another over 100 machines. So in just 2 years, we've installed 200 machines that we designed, we built from scratch that are specific to our process. So this is a big mistake in manufacturing. That's why it's going overseas, is people aren't investing in innovation, both in hardware and the software, to bring costs down. Like, I believe in bringing costs down too, but not in silly ways like lean manufacturing consultants or whatever what do they call it? Lean and Kaizen, and
Yep, you got it.
Right, $500,000 for consultants to come in and make everyone bored out of their mind, and then nobody figures out how to cut costs anyways.
Yeah, you're going to piss off a bunch of other people, but that's another show entirely, is having that discussion.
Yeah. For other people that are the other thing we do, and people say, the question about how do I do things in Mexico, which I didn't perfectly answer, is we're a metrics-based organization too. And like, once you get your own software teams, it's easy to put, you have to pick the right metrics, right? But we have dashboards to look at everything. Some people go nuts with dashboards, and they try to track everything imaginable, but I got very simple metrics, right? In manufacturing: turnaround, quality, cost, and delivery, and safety, right? Turnaround, safety, quality, and cost. And like, we got dashboards that look at each one of those things. And number one thing is safety. You want your people to be safe. Number two thing is making sure things ship on time and are decent quality. And then cost is the least important thing, but costs go down over time through automation. We don't put the burden on our employees to bring costs down. We bring costs down through automation, engineering, both in terms of software and hardware. But yeah, people always say to me, "Do you have a good manufacturing guy?" I say, "I don't know. I live in Mexico half the year, and I box, and I barely talk to him, and all the orders ship on time. So I guess he's pretty good." But
must be.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we got to get into the drama. So I don't even know the time frame now. I looked it up, but yeah. So it was around the time of the first attempt on President Trump's life.
Yeah.
You sent an email out, basically just calling for the hate to stop.
Sure.
Right? Got that pretty accurate?
Yeah, basically, it was a very simple email. And, my friend, I was in Mexico actually at the time, and I was about to get a haircut. And my friend called me. He said, "President Trump's just been shot." And so the first thing I did, of course, is, I wanted to see if it was real, because, we got a situation now where the news, you don't even know if it's real half the time. Yeah. So before I did anything, I went and checked to see if this was real. And it seemed to check out that it had really happened. So while I was getting my haircut, I just wrote what I wrote, and people liked the message. I showed it. I called, I move very quickly. So I called, a group of people at Sticker Mule one by one, not in a group, but I called different people at Sticker Mule to get varied perspectives. And the Trump people all did not want me to send the email. They were scared that, the world was going to come to an end if I sent the email. And the people that were more left-leaning at Sticker Mule were more supportive, because if you read the email, it said, people at Sticker Mule like Trump, people at Sticker Mule like Biden. The hate against Trump supporters needs to come to an end. And people on the left at Sticker Mule agreed, because, look, we got both people on both sides at Sticker Mule. Every single company has people on both sides. Everyone at Sticker Mule gets along. Don't matter what side you're on. In fact, we don't even really talk about politics a lot at work, because it's not something to really be discussed at work. We got enough exciting things going on at Sticker Mule that we talk about work, and we talk about jokes, and we make a lot of jokes and stuff too.
Yep.
But we don't talk politics, but everybody gets along. Don't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Everybody gets along. Everybody's respected. And the message simply said, look, in my view, we got a situation where half the country lots of people in the world, really, because it's not just in the United States, but Trump supporters are all over the world. But Trump supporters are being bullied. I call Trump the biggest victim of bullying in the world today, and his supporters are bullied all the time, and not at Sticker Mule, but in the world, like they get all over the place, and it's not good. It's got to stop. This like idea that as soon as somebody announces they're a Trump supporter, you instinctively hate them is nuts. It's got to go away, because there's situations where people love each other. Joe's a great guy, I like him so much. And then Joe says he's a Trump supporter, and then Joe's the worst guy in the world. And him for years, right? It doesn't make any sense. I got a family member of mine that loved everything I did, until I did this. And now all he does is write everything I post on Facebook. He writes a mean message every single time because he's so into this world. And it's like, luckily it's a sort of distant cousin, but I'm like, I just let him say it. It's odd, right? You got people get mad at their family members and they love their family members. Then all of a sudden, oh, he likes, it's over, right? And then Joe's a great guy, or Jane's a great girl, and then all of a sudden she says she likes Trump, and she's the worst person in the world. So that's got to go away. I think that problem is going away because people like myself are speaking up. If people like but other people too, Elon, Elton John,
Right.
Snoop, there's a lot of people speaking up, not just me. But people say to you, "Why did you do this?" I said, it's not something I particularly wanted to do. If the situation wasn't so bad, nobody would have had to do it. I mean, if bullets weren't flying and I didn't have to watch 8 years of people being bullied, I wouldn't have to do it. I don't think Elon Musk wanted to do what he did. I think he'd rather be focused on, space travel and cars and tunnels and all the other stuff he's doing. But he got himself involved because he saw, I think, a similar issues that I saw. And I don't think, I think a lot of people are speaking up because they're seeing similar things. Bill Ackman left the Democrat Party and switched to supporting Trump, and a number of other people, influential people, are doing the same thing. Naval Ravikant's a very respected person who recently admitted he's endorsing Trump. So I don't think these people are doing it because they want to. I think they're doing it because they feel like they need to, or they're going to end up with a world that nobody wants to live in.
What's infuriating to me is there was this flurry of opinion pieces and X comments and blah, blah, blah against you about how you were basically abusing your customers and your workers by saying anything. None of those people spoke up when you had, Ed Bastian going after the NRA years ago, telling untruths about the reality of gun control laws, then followed up with the same crap about the Georgia election laws. You had same stuff out of Tim Cook at Apple, same kind of stuff out of, I'm forgetting his name, at Levi's. All these guys in CEO positions, some of them in publicly traded companies, injecting their own politics, not like you did, saying, hey, this is not a political thing. This hate has to stop no matter who it's aimed at. These were people going after a partisan agenda, using the resources of a public company. To me, it's just they let absolute corruption go by because it was on the right side. They perceived you as being on the wrong side, and so they attacked you. And it's just
a lot of these people have incestuous friendships with government, and they want the status quo situation. My friend said they want a status quo situation where they get to keep all their friendships because there's, they establish friendships and they're involved in a corrupt system, and they don't want a new person coming in and, shaking the apple cart and fixing the corrupt system. But, you said this was, people said the first attempt on Trump's life. I actually think, we're up to multiple attempts on Trump's life because I think people forgot, it got memory hold, but they tried to kill him during the presidency. Remember when they attacked the White House? That got totally memory hold. But remember, he had to go into the bunker, and the Secret Service had to protect them. They were at the gates of the White House, and they were going to storm the White House and try to kill him. And that got memory hold, and it was so sick, people forget. But a guy named Joe Biden and other politicians made fun of him for it. They said, "Oh, Trump's hiding in his bunker." We had an army of people trying to kill him, and people were making fun of him for it. And no single CEO spoke up and said that was wrong. Nobody said it was wrong that politicians were mocking a guy because he had to protect himself from an angry mob that was trying to kill him. I mean, wasn't the first attempt, and it's like they've been trying to kill him since really, for quite a while, it seems. But there was an attempt that day where they surrounded the White House. The Secret Service had to protect them, and then rather than show sympathy for the situation, you had people mocking him and making fun of him. Which is really not just bullying him, but it's bullying the supporters into submission and saying, "Look, we have so much power over you that we can try to kill your guy. We can try to kill the guy you like. And then when he seeks protection from the Secret Service, we're going to make fun of him for it. We're not even going to show sympathy. We're going to mock him for it." So, this is really a bad situation. I think the situation is getting fixed because it's gotten so out of control. But people ask me why it's because there's no choice. People got to speak up, or we're going to end up with a world that people don't want to live in.
A piece of it getting fixed too, and I applaud you for this, certainly the same thing with Elon, is you guys have come under big pressure. I mean, enormous amounts of full-on mainstream media blasting, and you've held your ground. You haven't backed off. I remember a few years ago, right after the Roe v. Wade decision or around then, a CEO had the temerity to express his own personal uh, opinion about being pro-life, and he was jettisoned from the company. So that, I think, is another thing is changing. You're setting that example of people who will stand your ground, maintain your position, speak up for your own beliefs, but still run a thriving business.
Yep, we got a big roadmap of cool things going, and people say, "Why does he keep speaking up? Why does he keep talking about it?" Well, if I stopped talking about it, they would say, "Oh, he gave up. He gave into the bullying." They would say,
Yeah.
"Oh, he wrote the letter, and then we yelled at him for a week, and then he got scared just like everybody else, and he
Yep.
went and hid." So now I'm going to keep talking about it, and sort of like Elon, sort of like Trump. I'll be
Yep.
honest, I was a victim of bullying with this whole situation. I was one of the first people to be canceled in 2016. People don't even know. I mean, some people know, some people don't. But I bought Trump Christmas ornaments in 2016, and I gave them out to people as a joke. It wasn't even a big thing. It was just there was Trump Christmas ornaments, and they counted as a campaign contribution. I got recorded for a campaign contribution. Somebody found out about it, and somebody posted it to social media, and we got thousands and thousands of hate mails since that
Wow.
day. And I'm gonna say exactly what happened. I didn't even like saying it before, but now I feel like I can say it. But it got so ridiculous that we ended up giving away free orders for Christmas. We give a free order to everybody that wanted one during Christmas 8 years or so ago. We became the #1 topic on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
And just to hurt me and to hurt Trump and hurt the Trump moment, Twitter inserted a comment at the top of the trending saying, "Sticker Mule CEO is a big Trump supporter, and he donates all of his money to anti-gay organizations."
Oh,
Which is disgusting. I donate nothing to these organizations. It's totally disgusting. I've personally hired a number of our LGBTQ employees personally. They're personal friends of mine, and I've encouraged them to join Sticker Mule. And they love working here, and they love working for me, and they're friends of mine. And so that's been a disgusting lie that's been floated around by the left to try to hurt me and bully me and intimidate me. And people want to know why I'm doing this. I say, like Trump, like President Trump, I box. I'm a counterpuncher in boxing. I'm a counterpuncher in everything I do. It's disgusting what they've been doing, bullying people and bullying me and all this. And I'm a counterpuncher. I'm punching back now and really fixing the problem. And it's gonna go away. I don't like losing. I don't like losing fights. I only lost one fight in my life, which I don't even like talking about. I had bronchitis, and I had a close decision, but hey, Trump had a close decision situation 4 years ago, and he's back, and I think he's going to have a big victory. But I don't like losing fights, and I don't know if people pick on me. I always come back and I always win, and so I'm doing what I can to try to win for myself and for the country, really, and for the hundreds of millions of people that have been bullied over the last 8 years. I say hundreds of millions, and people say I'm making stuff up, but I live in Mexico. I got a company in 39 countries, and people like the guy all over the world. Just in South America alone, he's probably got a few 100 million supporters because they know government corruption better than anyone in South America.
Yeah.
And they love him in South America. People love him all over the place in Venezuela and in Ecuador and Chile and Mexico. He's even liked people like him in Mexico because they want a strong president that cares about the country and wants to stop corruption in Mexico. So he's loved all over the world. I'm standing up for myself and for other people that have been bullied over the last 8 years. And, together with other people like Elon and RFK and Tulsi and Bill Ackman, we're going to make this problem go away so we can get back to a country where we're unified and we're happy and we all support each other and we're not being nasty to each other because government propaganda told us to be mean to each other.
Well said. And yeah, going back to that sentiment you expressed in your email, that hate has absolutely no rationale whatsoever. I don't care who you're for, what kind of person you are, what you believe. This idea that we're justified in hating our fellow countrymen because of their political opinions or the way they live their lives has got to stop. So I'm right there with you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your time today. We cover everything, or is there anything else you want to?
No, I think, we hit everything. Check out stickermule.com. Oh, by the way, if depending upon the time it is getting released, stickerpac.com. We're giving away pro-Trump sticker packs for free to spread a positive message about Trump. My favorite one, we got one that says, "Awesome people love Trump." We got another one, it's my design. It says, "Trump for peace." Trump was the candidate for global peace. He delivered unprecedented peace his first term. So check that out and check out our Sticker Mule Stores platform. And keep an eye on what we're doing. We're going to keep being interesting and we're going to keep doing more stuff. Both exciting in the Sticker Mule front and, trying to fix this problem. I'm not going to stop until the problem's fixed.
Well, it's a great story. Anthony, I appreciate you being here. Keep doing awesome stuff.
Thanks. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate the opportunity to get on and talk about manufacturing is one of my favorite topics, and this other thing, which is a big problem, and I'm happy you gave me a chance to talk about that too. Hope your listeners liked it.
Like you said, you're all about fixing problems, so do that.
Thanks. Thank you.
And of course, as always, thanks to you guys in the audience. You are why we're here. We don't care if you support the left or the right. We want you as our fans here on Manufacturing Talks, because we talk about manufacturing, and yes, stop the hate. So tune in every Tuesday, sometimes even Thursdays. We'll be here with a new show. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you. Signing off from Manufacturing Talks. I'm Jim Vinosky.
Thanks for tuning in to Manufacturing Talks with Jim Vinosky. Watch for new episodes dropping every Tuesday. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.